Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boys.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome. Go ahead, Morgan. You was about to burst out saying, "Hey!"
I was, yeah.
That's okay. You're full of joy, and that's what happens, right? Welcome back to
Yeah.
the Avanti Talent Spotlight, and we've had a couple of rough ones that didn't start. Sorry for that, guys, but this one was going to start because this one has Morgan on it. All right, let's get a cheer for Morgan.
Woo!
For Morgan. Morgan, always with the wonderful smile. Have you always just been that person?
Thank you. No. I've not always been a ray of sunshine, but I try. I really do. Yeah.
Is it something you had to blossom into?
Yeah. You know what? Actually, I sort of take that back because I always enjoyed being the center of attention. I think for a long time, but for a long time it was more so like sassy. Now it's
Or it was
more
more
like happy, calm, yeah, energy.
okay, awesome. So, Morgan, tell me, um, what made you want to pursue the entertainment industry? I know we from your bio, we see where you study and what you study, but where did you get that first itch to want to do something in the
Yeah.
development?
So honestly, I went to a private elementary school that was very big on like the arts and foreign language, but we used to have to participate in these operettas every single year. They would put us on stage. We would do holiday sings, things like that, and I always loved it. Like I loved being a part of it. A lot of kids dreaded it every year, but that was always my favorite part of the year was when we got to do our operettas and our holiday sings and I my nanny as a when I was really young used to take me to plays and operas and ballets and things like that. So it was always like a big part of my life. And then in middle school and high school, I always did drama. But I think like my main focus was always athletics and sports because I was always very deep into that as well. Until probably my senior year of high school, I was forced to go to this acting competition and I won. And then when I won, I think it was this sort of realization of like, this is something I really could do. And then when COVID happened and you sort of you sit and you have nothing but your thoughts, I realized like not only could I want like do this is really really what I want to do. Like I can't imagine myself doing anything else. So yeah.
Well, thankful for us. Was there any roadblocks or anything in particular that almost detoured you from accomplishing this? And if it was, how did you? What was it, and how did you get through it?
Hmm. Honestly, I think the only thing is like myself. I think everybody has this when they do anything. It's like they have that moment of like self-doubt and you're like, "Oh my God, this is so risky. I don't know if this is really something that I can do." But I think that that's like getting over that is the most important thing because I think the reason that people don't succeed in this industry is because they have that and they let it stop them. and they stop and they can't take rejection, they can't take the self-doubt, they can't take um, the insecurity that comes with sort of being in that position. But to me, for every moment that there is that self-doubt, there's a million moments of like, oh my gosh, this happened and this happened and this happened. And it's like, I can't see anything but this goal. And so it's like, as long as you're reaching towards that goal and you're taking all these little micro steps, I think that's another thing that people don't realize about this industry is they think that like they wake up and like someone looks at them and they're just like, you're a star. And it's like, no, that doesn't happen. You know, you have to take a million little micro steps to get to what people who aren't familiar with the industry at all think of as like the first step. And so it's like I'm constantly taking these micro steps and like as long as I'm accomplishing things every day, week, month, and I can look back and think, even though like in the moment it doesn't feel like I'm accomplishing anything, if I can look back and be like, months ago I wasn't where I was today. And without this like hardships, I wouldn't be where I was today. Then it's like all that self-doubt kind of goes away because it's like for as much as in the moment I might have second guess it, it's like I'm doing all these things and it's sort of like the progress is undeniable.
This business weeds out the impatient, right?
Hmm.
You don't
Hmm.
have patience and that desire to keep it going. We all hate to hear the word no, but it weeds out the impatient. One thing that I noticed about you, you always seem prepared. I never once myself had you in any workshop or preparation where you weren't prepared. Do you pride yourself in being prepared and being focused?
Absolutely. I think that like those are the sorts of things that really differentiate people. It like especially in this industry, like, and I think that I've always had an awareness of like expectations, and when you exceed expectations or when you meet expectations, like people might not single you out but they notice. Like I've always been that person in class who like has a million things to say and is prepared, and
Yes.
teachers like me for it, you know. And it's like, and even and then there are those moments where you slip and you're not so prepared, but because you've been so prepared, like people give you more grace because they know it's not who you are. It's not like, oh, you were just being lazy and you didn't do it. You know, like things slip through the cracks sometimes. But it's like, but because you have been in the past, like that supports you in the now, you know? And so it's like I'm always trying to be my best self so that when I have those moments, it's like people don't fault me for it, you know? But
I,
also it's about yourself as much as it is impressing other people because it's like if you're not prepared you're only letting yourself down, you know. Like we pay for this thing and it's like I'm not going to waste my money by not doing my part, you know. It's like it really is, especially in like the entertainment industry, like yes it's about who you know and all these people, but it's about yourself and how much effort you put in yourself. And I will always put my best foot forward because I'm not going to put my name behind something that's like mediocre.
the thing you were talking about when you said doing things a certain way, that way when you slip, that they don't come down hard on you, and some people may not understand that. So I want to liken it to you've been working for a company for 5 years. You're always 45 minutes early to work, and one day you're 5 minutes late. They're not gonna go ballistic, unlike the person who's late like 2 or 3 times a week, right? 2 or 3
Hmm.
times a week. Oh, Jennifer must be watching. She said great advice. Oh, that's awesome. She's watching you. Great advice. So you've got through that hard. I don't want to call it hardship, but you've gotten to what could have been a roadblock, and now what are you doing? I want to step outside of the workshops a little bit. What are you doing outside of the volunteer?
um I mean, everything I can to for those microset like training. I think we you guys had mentioned that too. Is like you have to constantly be training. It's like, and I think my sort of my background in athletics has helped me a lot in like acting and like the industry in general because so much of it like there's so much correlation that people don't think about because like the arts and sports like they seem like two different worlds, but like you think about it like a sport, like you have to practice or you're
Mhm.
not going to be able to play in the game, like you're not going to be good. So it's like I'm constantly like doing student films. I have acting classes through my school that I'm doing. Like I practice. I do things like that. And then also like networking even, like I meet a lot of people. I make friends with a lot of people and that have the potential to help me that are doing the same sorts of things that it's like we're not anyone right now, but it's like we work on projects together and like one day this is going to be someone really important to know maybe, I don't know, but it's like I have friends now and I have people because I talk to people and I network and I do all these other things. Yeah.
No, I totally understand. It makes perfect sense. I totally understand that you're doing constant training, constant working on your craft. Just like you said, if you have a basketball team, you practice once every 3 months, it's going to be a very terrible team, right?
Yeah.
Continue to do the things
Yeah.
that you're doing. Um, so you talked about you weren't always the big ball and ray of sunshine. When did
Yeah.
that turn for you? When did you turn and become as pleasant as? Because when you walk in a room, for those of you who have not met Morgan, when she walks in the room, positive vibes before she says a word just flows right to you.
Thank you. um
Well, I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true. Trust me,
yeah.
you should know that about me by now.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I don't when that transition happened, I'm not really sure. I think what it was is like, first of all, internally, it just feels better when you're happy and you have good vibes. But then I think I, s- I started to notice how my energy can affect other people. And like, I think I put this in my bios, like one of my biggest things is like helping others. And that I love doing that. And even when you have that sort of energy and other people can feed off that and you can see how it builds other people up, it's incredible. And oh, you know what? Actually, I can think of a specific point in which I sort of turned. I used to play volleyball and I was very consistent. I was very good, but I was very composed and very serious. And my face was always, I was like, when I got on the court, I was very serious. And one of my coaches pointed out to me that college recruiters were looking at me and thinking that I had an attitude. And they're like, they don't know you. And all they have to go off of is what you look like. And you're out there like this. And I know that it's because you're focused. But to everybody else, it looks like you have an attitude and you're angry and you're like super. And so what he had me do, he was like, fake it till you make it. Go out there, smile, be silly, do whatever. And so I did that. I started being that person who chanted really loud and was cheering and was hyping everybody up and was smiling and laughing. And like, I always looked like I was having the most fun on the court. And that, like, faking it transitioned into being my reality. And that's just how I was. And so
So
now that's sort of how I go through life. Yeah.
it became authentic for you, right?
Yes.
Became
Yes.
authentic and not just, well, I'm good because that's I wouldn't have want. I probably would have been okay with the other Morgan too, but I like this Morgan better. You
Yeah.
went from you were the Terminator basically back then. It was super
Yeah.
focused, tunnel vision. This is my mission, but life could lead to so many things, so you had to evolve, right?
Yeah.
And now you feel much better about it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. Tell me what you enjoyed the most about going through the prep courses before you went to your actual showcase.
Honestly, you. I don't want to sound like I'm like, but no, I thought you were so hilarious in all our classes. Yeah, yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. And I enjoy it, especially when it's something that I really care about, like acting and like putting my foot in the door in terms of the industry. Like I just enjoy learning as much as I can. Like some of the information that I got was not necessarily new to me because I have other experience and so it's like I've heard these things before, but every time I get a new piece of information like from you or from Jennifer about this industry that I didn't know before, it's like, oh, like I'm so glad that I have that now. Like that's not something I'm going to forget. So just like learning in general, I really
Well,
enjoy.
you were a good sponge because you never asked me a question that I answered already. That's the one thing I can say about you. Ashton Sherman, who's in the audience, said, I can't wait until I project enough positive energy to impact those around me, and just presence alone goes for sure. That is great. Hey, it's always positive vibes, man. I always say The Rock isn't in every movie because he's the greatest actor that ever lived. Just people love to work with the guy. You got to know how to make people around you feel better. be uplifting. You can't be self. Actors used to get such a bad rap, and all the actors used to come from these prestigious schools. They don't talk to anybody. We always see them with shades on. But no, there's so many more of them that are out there that have the same type of temperament as Morgan, and they're becoming more and more today, and I love it. What was your favorite part about Showcase Weekend?
Um, I honestly loved being able to meet all the people in person because obviously like when you're over Zoom you're not really necessarily having conversations and it doesn't really register. They're just kind of faces on the screen. But like I met a lot of really amazing people and like people still like talk in the little group chat online and it's like sometimes it's like the most mundane like how was your day today? And it's like I don't know why you're texting this in the group chat, but it's like it's so sweet. You know what I mean? And so it's like
Right.
it's always great to make like human connection. So I think yeah, like meeting the people there, um, having some really great conversations, like it was all like a very positive experience.
Mm,
Yeah.
awesome. So that was your favorite part. All right. So I do this to people all the time. That was number one. Now you got to give me a number two and three or ranking. What's the second thing you like the most about your showcase weekend?
I loved learning the model walk. It was difficult and it was awkward, but I loved learning it. And I was like, now I know. And like, I'm not just gonna walk out there, like, because I thought I could walk in heels before, but I was like, oh, okay.
What
Um,
you mean you loved it when Jennifer says, "Just do it like this," and she walks all fabulous, and you're like, "Okay."
yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was great. I thought it was great. I really, really did enjoy that. And it's like, it makes it like, I like a challenge and it makes it like a challenge. You know, it's like modeling isn't just going up there and looking pretty. Like there's technique to it the same way there is to sports. And it's difficult. Like walking in those heels, it's difficult. But I love being able to like do it. You know it's difficult and I did it. And so it's like that's something
You
that's
always
yeah.
see the girls that's like, "I've been walking in heels for 6 years," and you're like, "Okay, well, walk like this," and they're like, now they look like they've never walked before because it's like, "Wait, I thought I could do this." It's
Yeah.
hilarious. Right, that's number two. So now we've got number three. Third favorite thing that you liked about Showcase Weekend, and you can't say meeting me.
Okay, okay. I really enjoyed working with Gray. I
Oh,
think
okay.
yeah, I think like he made me feel very comfortable in front of the camera and it was like this fun little like cuz I for as much like I have done like smaller modeling jobs like on the side, I've never and as much as I feel comfortable in front of the camera acting, modeling is like a whole different thing. Like I've never felt super comfortable posing in front of a camera and things like that. But I working with him, like he just made me feel so comfortable and natural and I was laughing and I was smiling and it was really fun. Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. All right, those were the top three things you enjoyed about Showcase Weekend. Now we get to how did you feel before the actual showcase Sunday, that morning when we're like, okay, we're rolling. It's time to go. What was your mode like?
I am the person who's always very like focused. Like I said before, I was very focused. It's like I know exactly what I want and I know what I need to have to get there. But this always happens. It always happened like before the whistle blew when I start a game. That's when your stomach drops and your heart starts to. So like before I went on stage, it was like boom 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 and it's like so nerve-wracking and I even people like other people who were in the showcase like I was back there like this and they're like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm just focused." I'm like rehearsing in my head, like I'm good. I'm focused. But yeah, so it's like I'm always like calm, cool, and collected. Like I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. And then like the minute that it comes to like, okay, go, then it's like, oh God. But yeah.
Love it. So I remember every time I had to come back there to say something. As soon as I opened that door, your head just popped up like one of those meerkats. Like, what's going on? What's going on? What did I do wrong? Like, no, you're fine. Just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah.
So focused, so focused. And then what was the feeling once it ended? Not ended as in like we're not saying ended like a terrible thing. Once the show was over.
Once the show was over, I think there was like this huge relief. And then it's like, but the way I sort of am always is like, I never really sit in that for too long. I'm always like, okay, what's next? You know what I mean? So it was like, for a moment, it was like, oh my God, it was so great. I didn't mess up. Like, I didn't fall. I didn't forget like any of my stuff, you know? But, so it was definitely like a big relief. And then as soon as like we left the hotel, it was like, okay, so what now? Like, when am I going to get these emails? When am I going to respond? You know what I mean? Like, so yeah.
What callback were you most excited to see your name on?
IMG for sure. I think because that's like the big one that I had heard of. I grew up watching America's Next Top Model, you
Yeah.
know, and so like sometimes one of the prizes would be like, oh, you get to sign with IMG. And I was like, this is like if I won America's Next Top Model. And so to me, even like that recognition of like, even if you don't get it, like they saw you, to me that means
Of
something.
them being
You know,
interested
it
in you.
means yeah, that means that like there's a chance. And like even if it doesn't happen right now, it's like I know that to an extent I have what it takes to get something like that, you know?
I'm glad you said that, Morgan. Some people don't realize that. It's like well, they didn't sign. It's like, do you understand they had it's like college, right? If you got a letter in the mail that said Harvard was interested in you, you're like, what?
Mhm.
Me? You
Mhm.
know, so it's like, and then if Harvard didn't take you, like, well, they don't just send interest letters out to everybody. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you said that. How did you like? Did you notice? I know you noticed, but how did you like the evolution of things like your elevator pitch or your commercial from when you did it? Because you guys had different coaches that taught you how to do it, and then you all think it's good, and then you get me in those last 3 to 4 months, and I'm like tearing it apart.
Yeah. Yeah. For mine, I think you were the one who suggested I add like an element of humor and make it a little bit lighter. And I really appreciated that because I feel like I tend to, even though when we're talking about like, oh, I am like light up the room, I tend to, when I get things, especially when it comes like writing, I am very like serious. Or when you tell me to like, when someone tells me like, tell you about yourself, I'm like, okay. And I want to like lay down all my like accomplishments or all these things that are like great. And it's like, you forget to add that, like the people don't, especially when they're hearing like 100 different ones, it's like, they don't care. They don't want to just hear facts about you. Like they want to see your personality. They want to laugh. They want something that sticks with them. And so I think like that was something that yeah, that you added in that I like really appreciated.
So basically, you're telling me that all your coaches keep telling you to be funny.
Yeah.
You gotta listen to one of us. No, I'm just kidding. You do. It's so awesome. So what's the future right now looking for you outside of your pursuit to acting and modeling? Because you're gonna what year are you in college?
I'm a junior. Yeah.
Yeah.
So next semester will be my second semester, junior year, and then senior year, and then I think I'll be full on like in the mode of entertaining. 'Cause right now, like this year's been insane with the amount of stuff I was doing. Like I said, like those micro steps. Like every weekend, I was in a different student film. I was doing photo shoots. I was in the Avanti classes. I am the assistant to like a super old Hollywood actress. I don't know if you guys know who Jill Jars is, but yeah, she's like a producer now too. So it's like I'm doing all these other things. And so once I graduate, it'll be like full on that mode, but right now it's just focusing on school and keeping my grades up because that's important to me too.
Oh, look at Russell Donahue. Ronald Donahue says, Morgan, you're a rock star. You'll be on the big screen before you know it. Keep shining. What a
That is so
great thing
sweet.
to say,
You know,
bro.
me and Russell have a mutual friend, which I discovered on set. He's friends with someone who goes to my
Oh,
school.
oh.
Huh?
Now you're
Oh
talking about.
no, not you. Yes, you too. But no, no, no. Russell like worked with someone who actually goes to my school and who I'm good friends with.
You
Yeah.
know, Russell, Shane, there are some great people in there that I know they're just gonna. I would not be surprised if they're in a box office hit between now and the next 5 to 7 years. Just there's some wonderful, just amazing people that were in there. Um, Taking it seriously, putting in the hard work, and when you finish something, you'll know if you did your best or not. If you're honest with yourself, you'll know if you did everything you could, listen to everything you could listen to. You'll know that. I'm so glad that you got to do a lot of things. I saw you also got offered a scholarship to the New York School of Conservatory Arts from the showcase weekend.
So excited about that. I'm so excited. And it's sometimes I like take in like this might sound a little bit like hippy dippy, but I take in like signs from the universe and I like really appreciate when things feel like they're coming together because before that even happened, I had been like on the way to the showcase. I was telling my mom, I was like, yeah, like I think I want to go to New York this summer and just sort of experience it. Like it's a different vibe. Like I just want to see what New York has to offer. And then I got there and that happened and I was like, this is incredible. Like I have to take this opportunity. So yeah, I'll be in New York this summer at the
But,
conservatory.
but there's something you have to do when you put it in the universe. Like it doesn't just happen. He asked for a volunteer. And what did you do?
Oh, I raised my hand right away.
Right,
And
people volunteer. You know, volunteers have the less stress because when I ask, hey, volunteers, the first person that volunteers, I'm the easiest on because they're doing it first. I'm also the most insightful on. When I have to start picking people, that's when it starts to dwindle. So always volunteer. If she didn't volunteer, who knows? You know. You had a valuable lesson that you learned up there. It was very helpful and very insightful up there. Um, the one good thing about you is I can always write and pronounce your name correctly. Uh,
that's funny.
but Morgan, how tall are you?
I am well, technically I'm 5'9.5". I say 5'10" because in shoes I'm usually 5'11". So I go right in between my real height and the height that I appear to be. I'm
It's funny.
5'10".
I always feel like you're taller than me when I'm seeing you in person.
Everyone everyone thinks that I'm like 6 foot or above. I think it's because I'm like sort of slim and then also tall and I
Sorta,
very straight. So yeah.
sorta. Okay, Miss 0.0.01% body fat. All right, kind of slim. All right. No, you're a very healthy person. I've seen you eat.
You've seen me eat.
Yes,
Oh,
you could eat.
okay. Oh,
You could eat.
you saw me eat. Wait, when did you see me eat? Wait, what?
I'm like, she's just
What? Okay.
so Morgan. This is a part of the episode that I like the most. Okay,
Uh,
music from playing. So what I like to do towards the end is I like to give the person the chance to be spotlighted and kind of give their personal motivation that they would like to tell someone. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you single screen. It'll be you. Don't be scared. I'll still be here.
okay.
And
Woo.
like she's like, woo! What I would like you to do is I would like for you just to kind of give people your advice for overcoming their fears and getting out there and just whatever type of motivational tool that you would like to give to people yourself. Okay?
Okay.
All right, here you go.
Okay. Forgive me if I ramble. I didn't know I was going to be doing this, so I did not prepare anything to say. But I think the biggest thing I've learned since moving to LA, I think when I first came out here, I was very afraid because I knew that I wanted this thing, and I knew that I could picture myself being great as an actress doing all these things in the industry, but I didn't know that other people would see me that way. And I knew that for as much as I wanted it, you come to LA and you realize when you talk to people and everyone's an actress, a model, a producer, a photographer, everyone is something. And so you realize that like for as much as I want it, everybody else wants it just as much. And that was a big fear when I first came here. But what I have realized since living in LA, since doing things, since talking to so many people is like, not everybody actually wants it that much because not everybody is willing to put in the time and take the rejection and really put their best foot forward. Most people see it and they want it, but they don't actually care about it. What they want is like the money and the fame. But like if you really, really love this, and you work hard and you put your best foot forward always, it's not about who's prettier, who's more talented. Like it really is about being personable, loving what you do, and putting in the max amount of effort that you can. You can't half-ass it and expect to make it. People who do get extremely, extremely lucky, but that's the exception, not the rule. And I will never go through life thinking that I am like an exception in any way. If I am exceptional, it's because I worked hard to be that. Um, and I think that really is what differentiates people in this world. It's your work ethic. It's how bad do you actually want it, not how bad do you say you want it or you like feel like you want it. Because if you feel like you really want something but you put no effort towards making it happen, you don't really want it. So my biggest advice would just be, just work hard. And like, if I feel like sacrificing things that maybe might feel good in the moment for things that are going to amount to something greater later. I think like this year I had moments where I was like, dang, like I haven't seen my friends in like so long because I'm always working or I'm always doing this, or like, oh my gosh, my friends are doing X, Y, and Z and I'm over here like on set. And it's like, for as fun as that is like I'm missing out. But I look back on it retrospectively and it's like I sacrificed something, but I would never take that back. I would never give up what I was doing for the things that I had to sacrifice, because at the end of the day, like those things might have been fun for the hour that I was doing them, but then it's like that moment passes and like what did I gain from that? I didn't gain anything. Like if my friends are really my friends, they're still going to be there months from now when I'm done doing whatever I'm doing right now. So yeah, understanding that like for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, and like you might have to sacrifice something now, but tomorrow, next day, a year from now, it'll be worth the sacrifice.
All right, awesome. You didn't ramble too much. That was excellent. Excellent advice from an excellent person. I hope you all enjoyed the spotlight today. Hey, Avanti talent out there, whether you have finished the showcase or you are currently in showcase preps, you can be on spotlight. Be like Morgan, be like Ayante, who was our first one. Be always be prepared, perform at your best, be noticed, and you may be out here as well. Thank you, Morgan. Thank you, everybody that was watching. Ashton, Russell, and everyone else that was in the waiting. I only know the names of people who commented. Everyone else that was watching. Those of you who will watch this later, I am so glad that you enjoyed. We want to bring this to you as much as possible. Take care. Have a good night and enjoy your holiday.